Hey guys, so I know it's been a while. I always say this every video, but honestly, I went to young adults today. I've been going every Tuesday or whatever, but they said something today that you always hear. I feel like at least I always hear this. I always hear this word where they talk about how God, you just ask God to talk to you, or you want God to speak to you, and you don't know why you can't hear His voice, or you can't see what He's doing in your life, and all of this and all of that. And I feel like I have a good relationship with God. It's kind of on and off. Me personally, I just get lazy, not reading my Bible, not talking to Him every day, but after that service, I came to the gym, and after the gym I was praying to God for something, and I'm like, what, why not just talk to Him about my day, tell Him how it's going, you know what I mean? So I'm talking to Him about my day and all this and blah blah blah, and I'm going to the ATM. It's right next to my gym, so I had to put some money in. As I'm talking to Him, the ATM, seemingly, I put all my money in it, and seemingly the money is like perfect, but obviously sometimes it rejects the money, like the bill or whatever. So okay, I'm like, okay, whatever. I thought I put it in good, but I guess not. And I put the bill back into the ATM, and I accidentally put it like really bad. Like I'm like, oh, that's not gonna take it. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna reject the bill or whatever. But as I'm like thinking about that, I'm like, whoa. Like literally in the moment, I'm like, whoa, like this is a powerful word from God. And I realized something. God, like they literally, the word that they always say is that the more that you speak to God, the more that you read your Bible and all of this and all that, the more that you can see God in your everyday life and everything that you do. You know what I mean? And everything that you do, you see the little things that God has for you. And literally, I was like, I was putting my money in the ATM, and I was talking to Him about my exams and stuff. I low-key bombed my math test. I'm taking like 2 maths in one, so it's like super quick and stuff. And it's not that I didn't know the subject, it's just that I was tired. I was tired. I was I studied too much in like too little of time. It was just like my brain just brain farted. Like I just brain farted all over the test, and as I'm saying this, I'm like, God, this test, like I understand all the things, but it's just that I forget. Like I know all of the topics, like I know how to do everything, you know what I mean? It's just that I forget, or I get tired, whatever, before the test or before assignments. And I was just praying to Him, like, God, whatever happens, it happens. I know that whether I pass or fail, you're gonna make a way for me, And as I'm saying that, like the bill gets rejected, and I put the bill back in, like really bad. Like I immediately was like, oh, this is gonna reject it back, And then as I'm doing that, I'm like, whoa, like this is like powerful word. Like you may have thought that originally you did it perfectly, exactly how you wanted it to be, exactly how God wanted you to do something, when in reality it was the wrong way, or it wasn't your time. It wasn't your time, You may have done it perfectly, but it wasn't your time yet. So God rejected it, made you wait. He made you wait, just like He made me wait with the bill. He rejected the bill. The ATM rejected the bill. And then, you try again, and you accidentally mess up. You accidentally mess up and you're like, no way this is gonna work. No way I'm not gonna get rejected again. No way I'm not gonna have to wait another season again. No way this and that and that. And then lo and behold, our God makes a way for you. You know? In that time that you really, this is like so powerful, really, like just that God spoke to me in that moment, and it happens that quick, bro, that quick. Just take that chance to speak with God and pray to God and all of this and all of that, you know. It was just so powerful, because in reality you may have messed up, but God will make a way for you. God is a perfect God, and he held you back in that season. He held you back in that moment for a reason, so that you can come back, and even through your mistakes, because he knew you were going to make those mistakes. He knew you weren't going to do it the same way the second time, and you were going to be tired. You were going to be tired, and you weren't going to be refreshed in your mind, and you're just going to be lazy about it, not careful about it. He knew you were going to do that. But he makes a way to show you how much he loves you, and to show his glory and his power through your testimony, through your actions. And it's just crazy. I think the moral of this is more on the fact, not about, you know, I think the most powerful thing about what I'm saying right now is not the lesson of you know, maybe being pulled back and then doing it wrong the second time, but God still making a way for you, you know. But it's more of speak to him, pray to him, read your Bible, make a daily effort to speak to him. In reality, you should be, you know, the best way to speak to him like is just every day, because I mean, you can literally just talk to him whenever you want to, in your mind, like whenever you're doing something, like just tell him how you feel, tell him whatever, like blah blah blah, you know what I mean? And he speaks to you in these ways, and it's so amazing that he really does speak to you in everyday life. And you know, things aren't coincidences. You know, you shouldn't really believe in coincidences. It's like everything is purposeful. Everything is purposeful, and his way is perfect. You know, and it's so powerful. Really, just speak to him. You know, and another thing is, you know, I was speaking to this dude at my church, and he was telling, he worked very high in the government and all this and all that, and you know, he was telling me about all this. And moral of the story is he was very well off. He was very well off, and now he has to humble himself working Uber and all this, because for whatever reasons he had to quit, you know. And I was telling him, and he was telling me all these things, and I'm like, look, you may have thought you were doing it the right way the first time, like how I thought I was doing it the right way the first time with the bill. You're successful. At first, it accepts you, but then all of a sudden, it all goes downhill and it rejects you. You know? God sets you back, and he puts you, he makes you take a step back to refocus. And he knows you might not be perfect. He knows you're gonna mess up, but he's still gonna make a way for you. And I told him this before this even happened. This was like last week. And I'm like, man, like, look, God, like, he knows that's not a place where he wants you to be. So you just need to take a step back and realize, what does God want you to do in your life, you know? And that's so important. This video is very long, and if you listen through this whole video, you know, I mean, I appreciate you, and if anything, you should appreciate yourself more for listening to what God has for you. So speak to him, make an effort, read your Bible. Just it's not even about praying. Like when I say I speak to him, I literally just tell him my day. Like, God, like today I woke up early. You know, I kind of went to sleep last night late. I woke up tired with my class, but I understood like all the concepts and stuff when before I wasn't really understanding it, and like, you know, so it's just like basically just like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, like God is so great, and just make an effort. Speak to the Lord today, man. Speak to him, man. Speak to him. Yeah. Have a good night or morning or day, whatever.